Was there a point in time where you met a mentor or you met certain education that changed the way you did things?
No, definitely. I think the whole landscape, my landscape, changed when I joined the South African Property Investors Network.
Oh, you joined SAPIN?
So I joined SAPIN, so it was one...
What year was this now?
Last year, actually.
Last year?
Yeah.
So the paradigm shift happened last year?
Yeah. So for me, it happened last year.
So from 2004, 7 to 2023.
Yeah.
Right?
I was just buying up properties.
For the sake of it? No strategy?
No. But that's what I'm saying. Remember, that's where the graduation comes in.
Yeah.
Remember when I said to you that I've graduated? So I said I was... When I was being interviewed as part of the Investor of the Year, one of the things that I said to them...
By the way, congratulations
thank you.
for being nominated Investor of the Year.
Thank you very much.
2024.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to... I'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, we'll be there.
To watch you.
Nice.
To watch you get your award.
Crossing fingers.
Crossing fingers.
Crossing fingers
I'm
and
looking
toes
forward
and
to
all.
seeing that.
So that's where the graduation part of it comes in, when I said to them that I finally realized that I graduated from being a property buyer to a property investor.
True. Give us the difference, man. What do you mean a property buyer and a property investor?
So from, like you've alluded from 2007 till about 2020, say 2023, 2022, 2023, I had amassed quite a few properties. But being a property buyer, due diligence was not done. Running numbers was not done. It was just another brass stand conversation. We say, hey, you know what? Midrand is a very good place to buy property. So what happens?
Go buy in Midrand.
Go buy in Midrand. Go buy a flat in Midrand. You didn't run the numbers. Is it cash flow positive?
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter at the time. You just, our business is doing okay, and you just buying up some properties here and there.
What industry are you in at the time? Because I know you left culinary arts.
Yeah.
And got into, and that's what people don't understand. You cannot be a property buyer without having income.
Oh no, of course. And I think with that, is just recently when I think you interviewed Percy.
Yeah.
And his book. And when I read the book, I was like, but this is it. That book of his is like the simplest. I vouch for that. I think I went and bought like 10 or 20 of them, and I distribute them to people.
Wow.
But purely because when I moved away from that, then I moved to the field that I'm in now, facilities, but I worked for multinational companies, which I'm not going to mention. Because
Facilities management. Yeah, don't give them advertising.
No, I won't give them.
They must pay us.
Because some of them had fired me anyway.
So fired you?
One of them.
For long. We're not mentioning them.
So one of them fired me, so I'm not going to even say anything for that. So yeah, I'm not going to even mention that. And they fire in a situation, our contracts are not being renewed. Take a plan. So this was 2017.
Yeah.
So that's when my whole
But you've been with them for how long?
No, I've been in the industry, so I've been to the top. I can probably say the top 2 in the country. Facilities management company. So moving around in different areas. So I was lucky enough to get exposure to operations, sales in those facilities.
For a guy who was cooking, that's amazing. Eh?
No, I think that's one thing I'm very good at. I adapt.
The pivot. That's what I'm saying.
That's one of my strengths. What is it
about you that makes you adapt so easily to situations and new experiences? Because not many people can do that.
I think for me, I also believe in a philosophy, Arajo. You live once, and therefore, if an opportunity comes, it's not going to come wrapped in gifts and in rainbows and pink little bow ties. It is an opportunity. You just take it and run. And that's one of the things that has made me become so adaptable. Again, lifing, sometimes you only have one. And therefore, when an opportunity comes, go in. The problem with what we had, and I was just talking to my wife the other time, I said, there's a conversation that she had. Now, she's an engineer, but there was a conversation she had with an old man on site. This old man was coining it.
At work?
Yeah, at work. But this man was coining it as a contractor. And she was working for a multinational, multi-international company. And this old man said, the problem with you guys in Ganzanga, with the education in, you earn more shit. Even when you see opportunities, we penny, we jigise, we check what's wrong with this, what's wrong. Mina, ngatoli tuba, nalisebenzisa, ngagijima. So it's part of adaptability, what is going to be there. And that's one of the stories that stayed with me.
One guy, based on what you just said about the timer that talked about finding an opportunity and using it, right? Obviously, even in the Bible, it says time and chance happens to them all, right? It says, bread is not to men of strength or to the wise. And the race is not won by the fastest guy, but time and chance happens to them all. That speaks to opportunity, right? But this guy I was talking to this morning says to me, Witness, I've seen you doing Word of the Days. And it's like, Witness, Word of the Day is an episode. An episode of your life where you are saying something impactful and it reaches people. That episode might not last forever. Okay? It's like, think of all the great musicians you know that were trending back in the days when we were growing up. Where are they now? The episode is finished. So during your episode, it is the time where you must maximize on this opportunity that you've seen. So where do you think your episode came? And do you think you maximized it the most to get to where you are?
There's a lot of things that are happening that you just doesn't make sense. You know, it cannot be by me only. It cannot be by my own hard work. It just happens. I think I'm in the middle of that. I think I'm definitely in the middle of that episode that you're talking about. That I'm there now at the moment. You know, as I said to you, in my business, in mixing it with property in my business, and I said there last year, and I said, you know what, guys, it's either our business is sinking slowly, or we need to push beyond the ceiling. So what do we need to do to push it beyond the ceiling? It was a whole new different mindset that I needed to adopt. You know, so if you look at so in my bio that I will write one day, one of the things is mindset student.
Mindset student. That's you.
Student. That's me. I'm a mindset student. You know what fascinates me when I look at you and I look at your podcast and I look at some successful people that we've met at the Real Summit, I always ask them the one thing: what type of mindset do you need to have to run $1 billion portfolio? That's the question. And I think I don't know if you were there when I asked.
You asked him that question.
I asked him that question. I said, what type of mindset do you need to have to run $1 trillion company?
Sure.
What type of mindset do you need to have to run a portfolio that big? You know, in anything, I always ask people who are doing what I would love to do or people that I deem as successful in my own interpretation and say, Witness, what type of mindset do you need to have to go, you know what, I'm going to start this podcast. And this is where I need to be. And you'll also realize that a podcast at 1 million people and a podcast at 100 million, completely different ballgame. And you need to have changed the mindset. So that's why I'm a mindset student. And I'm fascinated by successful people's mindsets.